I was born on April the 22nd, 1918. I enlisted, yes, because I knew I was going to be one of the first members to be drafted. So I went up on the 2nd of that. I stayed home for New Year's, and then we went up to Poughkeepsie, and Poughkeepsie sent me down to New York City. The first thing you know, I was looking at a machine gun. I was in the Company D of the 26th Infantry.
So you survived 3 invasions?
Yeah, by 3 invasions, yeah. Operation Torch, November the 8th, 1942. To me, it was like nightmare. I was scared stiff because I'm not a swimmer, and I jumped off in the water with a gun up to here, and I tell you, I was scared to death.
I was in the Army, and I was in the Combat Engineers, and I was in Korea 51 and 52. When I went in to Korea, I went into Incheon on a landing barge. Then we worked our way up into North Korea, and I spent most of my time in North Korea. I went up and I supervised river crossings, bridges, and stuff like that. My wife had wrote me a letter, and she was expecting it, and she said she was expecting on October 15th. But on October 15th, I'm on this bridge, and all of a sudden we get a mortar barrage coming in, and I said to myself, God, I'm going to be killed on my son's birthday, or my child. I didn't know whether it was going to be a boy or a girl. But he was born on the 15th. He was actually born on that day.
I was in the Army Nurse Corps from 1968 to 1970. And when I left, I was a first lieutenant. I was 23 when I joined. When I went to Vietnam, I was stationed at 3rd Field Hospital in Saigon for 6 months. And then I went to the 71st Evac Hospital in Pleiku for 6 months.
I was in the Army, and I was drafted in 1968, in May of 1968. I served 2 years, 1 year in Vietnam. 1968, I was 22. And I left as a sergeant in E5. I went to Vietnam. I was in something called a Second Field Force, is what they called it. I was in a 105 howitzer air mobile unit. A good, maybe 6 months at the time I was in Vietnam, we were supporting the 1st Air Cav. And we were stationed out of Phuc Vinh.
So I entered the Army on January 13th at 11 o'clock in the morning in 1956. Retired February 4th, 1998. Served in the Middle East, yes.
Was that in the first Gulf War? Or?
First Gulf War, yeah. I was there to train soldiers, American soldiers who were just coming out of basic training, who were sent to Saudi Arabia straight out of that, and to train them in the tactics they would need in fighting in the desert warfare.
To me, I think to be patriotic is to keep your eyes open, to be an informed voter, truly informed, not just what you want to hear, and to speak up if you don't like it.
There were probably more patriotic people when I was in high school, not that I was that great or anything like that, but today they don't seem to learn enough about the government, the history, and I think if you go back in history, you can learn more about what's going to happen in the future, because history repeats itself, right?
A good citizen, to be loyal to your country, but not your country right or wrong, your country, trying to make your country right and trying to help it to get on the right track.
I was very proud to be in the First Division. I'm still very proud of being associated with the First Division. I think it was one of the best divisions going, but I loved them. I loved the guys I was with all the time that I met.
Any other thoughts on patriotism? Is it still as important in 2015? Do people still care about it?
Yes, they do, and I think they always will. Yeah. In some form, some way, it'll always be there. I don't think it's a word that's going to get lost in the dictionary.